Welcome to She Talks, He Nods. We're your hosts. I'm Maegan.
I'm Kris.
And welcome to our podcast, where we talk about our marriage, our life, our kids, and all the above and in the in-between.
Yep.
Why was that funny?
It was just funny.
Anyways, so this week has been fairly busy. I've been busy around the house. I'm trying to get all of the little, they're not spring cleaning, but do people fall clean?
I think so.
Is that a thing? Well, I've been fall cleaning, getting ready for the school year.
You've been before school nesting.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been working on the closets. Then I had to redo our school bookshelf and our free time play activities kind of closet, like clay and paint and all that, getting that all ready so I can say, go pick an activity from the closet while I do this subject with this kid and back and forth. So just been getting that all ready because we are starting school tomorrow. So I'm really excited for that. We're going to ease in really slow and just kind of do I wouldn't even call it a half day. It's just kind of getting our feet wet kind of thing.
Like an 8th day.
Yeah. Monday and Tuesday are going to be very, very light, just kind of more fun things. And then Wednesday, we'll kind of throw in our social studies and science lightly. And then by next week, we should be in full swing with our core subjects and everything. Yeah. And then we'll have a whole week off. So a really easy week, a full week, and then a week off. That's how we like to start around here. Yeah, we're all ready to rock. I'm excited.
Me too.
Yeah.
I get to start my new bid.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah. What does that mean?
My routes change at work. So that's always nice. We change twice a year. This is the long bid, the school year bid. So a 9-month bid and then a summer bid for 3 months. So by the end of the school year bid, I'm usually pretty ready to change, but I wasn't crazy about my summer bid. So I'm happy to lose my summer routes and pick up my normal. This is what I had last year too, last school year.
Except Wednesdays.
Except for Wednesdays. Now I'm off instead of working a shorter day. But yeah, so excited to change that and ready to keep delivering those boxes.
Yeah. All right. What's our subject for today?
Big emotions.
What are big emotions, dear? Do you have big emotions?
Sure. Do you?
I think I have the biggest emotions of all.
You have very big emotions.
I do. I think the kids get it from me for sure, which, we're very girl heavy over here and I'm big for hormones do play a factor. What are some big emotions that some of our kids have? What are some examples of some big emotions?
General frustration usually turns into a very big outburst because frustration's hard to manage. Like
when we're frustrated or when the kids are frustrated?
When the kids are frustrated with each other.
Okay.
And the kid who's doing the frustrating continues to push. It's really hard for kids to deal with that level of frustration. It usually ends in just a scream outburst,
Mm-hmm.
Kids in general, they just like to get a rise, they like to get any reaction. When they're getting that reaction, it's like, I'm going to keep doing this because I keep getting a reaction,
Yeah. What was going on in that aisle that you had?
Oh, what happened in the aisle was we were just walking down this aisle and Gemma touched something and made it fall on the ground. And then she just looked at it and then just kept walking. And I said, no, we're going to put that back where we found it. And she just immediately said, I didn't knock it down. And I said, oh, well, you were standing by it when it knocked down. So let's just go pick it back up. No big deal. We're just going to reset the store like it was before we walked past that thing. And she just immediately went straight to, I'm going to knock you out.
Oh, that's right. She started hitting you.
Yeah. She went and swung at me. So I just picked her up and said, oh, well, I guess we're leaving. Yep. And then as soon as I picked her up and I was walking away, she said, oh, not this again. And I said, I know. I said that same thing when you hit me. I said, oh, not this again.
Yeah.
She had big emotions when I tried to get her to put the thing back on the shelf that she knocked down. And she felt like, because I didn't knock this down, whether she did or didn't feel it, hit it with her elbow, maybe, she's like, I'm not putting that back. It's not my responsibility. And I was just, so that was her big emotion there.
Yeah. Another one is they ask for candy 5 times a day, which is funny because we're not big candy people. But I think lately this has been one because we bought a camper. And when we bought the camper, the people we bought it from gave us a big pack of Twizzlers.
Huge pack.
Huge pack, like beyond a family party.
5 pounds of Twizzlers.
It was so many Twizzlers. And, we're trying to work our way through them. But, now they just want Twizzlers all the time. We are not daily candy people. So then it's like, okay, they're asking for Twizzlers every day, and every so often it'll be, they'll already be hungry. And I think a lot of big emotions come from hunger, which we've talked about before, about dysregulation and how that leads to big emotions, and how often it's not what it seems. There's an underlying cause, and they'll ask for the Twizzlers, and we say, no, we're not going to have a Twizzler right now. Why? And we give them a good reason, like, well, it's 5 p.m. and we're not going to have sugar this close to bedtime, because that is just a general rule of ours.
Or it's 7:30 a.m. We just woke up. We're not going to have a Twizzler first thing. We're going to eat a healthy breakfast.
No Twizzlers for breakfast. And just sometimes you can just get that fit, just a fit, just a big emotion fit. And sometimes it's easy to just want to scream back. So that would be the big emotions, like just asking for that unhealthy treat or snack or food, and us being like, it's just not the right time for that. And then just kind of fighting us over that. Fighting us to get in the shower.
Yeah.
Get some big emotions about shower time sometime. Just trying to keep you clean, guys.
But they just love the shower. Once they're in, they're like, oh yeah, they're just in there dancing, living their best life. And they come out just a new human. They're just like, they're so revitalized, like all their big emotions are gone. You just got to get them in there.
Yeah, I can relate to that though. I also hate getting into the shower. Like, showering's fine, but the process of getting into the shower, and then also the process for me is getting out of the shower, is the hard part too. It hasn't been as bad the past couple of years because of my hair has been gone, and having shaved head just made showering just awesome. But now that my hair is coming back in, it is
annoying again.
I just hate to shower again. I'm already in the phase of it also affect my hair. I forgot how much my hair affects my exercising, my showering, my daily life, because it's such a nuisance to dry and style, and it's so thick and heavy and annoying.
Yeah. I would probably feel the same way if my hair was difficult like that, but my hair's not. I just shower, I just get out, I brush my hair, and it is what it is.
Your hair dries instantly.
I know, it's
you have such fine hair.
Fine. Yeah, yours is just unbelievably thick.
It is so thick.
And yeah, my hair's not thick like that. So, and I just brush my hair and it dries and I'm good.
Yeah.
And when it's dry and it starts to annoy me, then I put it in a bun.
Yeah.
And that's that. So never a deterrent. I'm always happy to shower. I think showers are one of our great luxuries of this time that we're living in. It wasn't very long ago that nobody had hot showers. Everyone took cold. They bathed in cold water, or they had to heat their water up, with a fire. What we have is just essentially endless hot water at our demand is crazy. And I don't take that for granted. I just love showering.
Yeah, when I lived in Kentucky, I used to take, I wouldn't say they were cold showers, but they were pretty cool showers because it's so hot and sticky there. Now I take warm showers because it's not hot and sticky here. Yeah,
if I get off the bike on a really hot bike day, when I come in and I'm just ungodly hot, I want cold water. I just go turn the water cold, and when it hits me, I'm like, that feeling.
Gosh, there was one time I showered in the gym, and it was in a different shower. I hadn't showered it before, a whole different locker room. And, I was already naked. Everything was happening. And I didn't want to have to get fully dressed back. Well, this did not have hot water. It was like a cold plunge. It was so miserable. I thought my head hurt. It was so cold. I was leaning my head in it just as quick as I could to basically rinse off. It was absolutely terrible. We'll never do that again. I stick to the same shower now.
Yep. Warm showers, pretty good.
Yeah. But so big emotions, they come, I think everyone listening more than likely has kids or anyone. They've experienced big emotions somewhere. We all have them. We have them as adults. It's not just a kid thing. Big emotions are for everyone. I have big emotions often. We had a little argument the other night, and it's just, that's from my emotions. That's what it comes from. If we were also level-headed, well, we would never fight or argue or anything, even if we disagree, because as long as you're level-headed, everything's fine. And if you can stay calm, but it's so easy to not stay calm. It's who we are. It's how we're made.
Yeah, and it takes a long time to be able to control your emotions to the best of your ability, and kids don't really possess that skill yet at all.
Yeah.
They feel the same way we feel. They get offended, they get upset, but they're not able to identify exactly what's making them upset. They're just living in the moment. We have to remember that they are struggling when they're upset. They don't want to be upset.
Yeah. It's like we mentioned before, like it's so easy that we will give ourselves the grace, like as the adults, but have none for the kids. We expect them to essentially act like adults, but it's funny because as adults, we lose our temper and we don't have any repercussions for losing our temper. It's just, well, I got mad. Oh, so what? Or I got sad. It's just, when it comes to the kid, it's like, oh no, we want them to not be like that. Like we're telling them to stop whining, to stop being angry. And it's like, take a second and think about that. When you're angry, do you have people coming to you telling you, stop being angry, stop being sad? No, you don't. Have you ever been upset and angry and someone just said, stop being angry,
and
stop whining about that?
Oh, good point. I should.
Right. Like no one ever does that. You don't do that to adults. So why do we do it to kids? Why are we telling them to stop whining? They're not whining to whine. Right. They're whining because something is wrong.
Kids just need a guide through stuff like that. And it's our job as parents to be their guide and to, when they're feeling a big emotion, to just first connect with them and be like, hey, I get it. I have felt that too. I understand. Let it all out. It's okay. It's okay to feel. Yeah. Let's feel and then let's get through it. And then we can figure out what was making us feel like that.
Yeah. Another place that I think big emotions can come from often is from us adults that's not handling the situation right? So for example, I say, hey, will you pick up the toys you left out? No. Well, see, that was like, I really can't get mad at this point if they said no because I asked them. If you ask someone a question, well, they have the right to answer either way they want to, right? And I think we forget that language as adults. So often we just expect our kids, if we ask something of them, that they should just do it, right? But if you ask them to do something, well, you have to accept it if they say no. If you really want them to pick up the blocks and you want to be the leader of the house and you are telling them to do something or giving them a direction is kind of how you need to phrase it. So instead of saying, will you go pick up those toys? Well, you should say, it's time to pick up your blocks now. Now, at this point, if they say no, you don't ask again, right? You don't ask again. At this point, if you said, it's time to pick up the blocks, and they said no, now you're going to take their hand, you're going to calmly bring them over to the blocks, and you're going to pick them up with them because they need that guidance, they need that direction. And it's not an option at that point. You gave them a direction as the leader of the house. And I think whenever you use that wrong language, that is where a lot of times it'll open the door to big emotions. Will you pick up the blocks? No. Well, I'm your parent. I told you to pick up the blocks. Okay, no. And then it's like, you're both getting escalated. You're both getting heated. And at that point, it's just going to spiral out of control. Yeah.
It's definitely just important to phrase it correctly. Like you just have to keep in mind that you're the leader. You're not their boss. You don't need to boss them around. The kids don't need a boss. They need a leader. A leader doesn't say, go do that or else. A leader says, we're going to go get this done. This is our job right now. Your job right now is to pick up these blocks. And if they're like, oh, and they're just overwhelmed because there's 50 blocks and they're all over the floor, a leader says, let's go pick these blocks up. We can do this. It's important that you don't just go, pick up the blocks. No, pick up the blocks. No, pick up the blocks. No. Oh, fine. No. Yeah. Or you just go, whatever. I'll just pick up the blocks.
Yeah.
Because then they know, then they're like, oh, if I just hold out long enough, I don't have to do anything.
Yeah. And that's just opening up a whole different thing, not even leading to big emotions. Big emotions is where you basically, as the adult, escalate the situation by just saying, I ask you to do this. It's like where you explode and then you're making it something it shouldn't have been. But that is just like a whole different thing. You're just kind of teaching that what you say doesn't matter.
Right. When it comes to the big emotions, priority number one should be all parties stay calm always. And if one party starts to lose their emotions, they start to lose control of their emotions, no more directions. Now it's your only job is to get back control of the emotions, and then you can move on with the task at hand. If you're upset, you have to take a step back.
Yeah.
If the kid's upset, You got to connect and you got to get them not upset. And then you can go back to what you were doing. Because they just won't listen to you when they're upset.
Exactly. I mean, I just think about, I think about just us and our fights. Like what you can tell a point like where I've checked out. Like if I've ever checked out, what's the point of having the conversation?
Yep. Right. I usually stop talking.
Yeah. And we have to revisit it when I'm calm. We can actually have the discussion. It's the same with kids. If you have an argument, no one's really hearing anybody. You're not really fixing anything. You're just arguing. But if you take the time to ground yourself, remain calm, that's how lessons are learned. That's how you're going to have growth within your emotional intelligence, right? So like some really important things. What do you think are some of the key things to do in order to handle big emotions, deal with big emotions? What's one of like the key things that has to happen? I think you've already mentioned it essentially.
It's connection, yeah. The connection's number one. If you see that your child is just really overwhelmed and feeling some emotions that you can clearly tell as their leader that they are not able to process and handle right now, they can't take your direction while they're feeling the way that they're feeling. It's your job to connect and bring them back to regulation.
How do you connect? Say, I'm upset. I'm just screaming at you. I'm telling you, I don't want to do this. This is unfair. I should never have to do this. Blah, blah, blah. I'm upset. I'm a kid. How do you connect with me?
I would just walk up, get down on their level, and first just start by giving them a big hug and holding them and saying, hey, it's okay. It's okay. And just get them out of their and get them calmed down a little bit. And then you can say, hey, I see you're frustrated. I see you're frustrated at this. Probably or what you're feeling right now is overwhelmed at this. I feel overwhelmed sometimes too. Sometimes it's like that. When you're overwhelmed, you just got to calm yourself down and then you got to just push through and you got to do the job at hand, even though sometimes you don't want to do it. I have to do stuff like that all the time. I get it. It sucks, but this is part of life. And if we make a mess, we have to clean up that mess if no one cleaned up messes. So right now we just have to pick these blocks up. We can do it in a fun way. You want to shoot them into the basket from across the room? That's fine. I don't care how the blocks get picked up, but we're going to get them picked up.
Yeah. And it's as simple as that. Yeah.
But the alternative is just sitting there in a screaming match and saying, you're going to do this. You're doing this. You're going to pick these up.
Yeah.
And you just got to connect. And once you connect, then you can do anything.
Yeah.
Once the child feels like you're in their corner and you're not against them, it's not the child against you. It's you guys against the blocks. Then the game changes.
Yeah. Number one is as the adult, as the leader, you have to stay calm. You can't escalate the situation, which is probably for me, I think, the hardest part for us adults. For example, as an adult, the last time you say someone freshly made you a plate of food and you tripped and you dropped it, right? What did you do next? As an adult, you tripped and you knocked
I tripped and dropped my plate.
You tripped and dropped your plate.
First, I would look up to the sky and give a real audible sigh, and then I would clean up my stuff.
What did everyone around do? If there was anyone around, any other adults around or any other people, what did they do when you dropped your plate? How did they react?
Probably with some level of empathy. Probably,
yeah,
sorry that happened.
Now, when you just made your kid dinner, they tripped and dropped your plate. How many parents do you know would throw their hands up? Oh, why did you have to do that? What are you doing?
Why aren't you more careful?
Yeah, pay attention. Why is that the response for the kid?
Yeah, it should be the same response as if you were the one that dropped the plate. You just go,
oh, that sucks.
Oh, no.
No worries. I'll get you a new plate.
Yeah, let's get
a clean plate. So it's just, why is that the go-to for so many parents when their kid makes a mistake? Do you know what you're doing whenever your kid makes a mistake and you make them feel worse for it? You're setting them up
low
self-esteem, like as if they're a failure in your eyes when they just tripped and made a mistake. And I think that happens more often than we as parents want that to happen.
Yeah.
And I think it's just so important to always put yourself in the kid's position. If I did this, would I be reacting this way? Here's one that I know you and I, sometimes we have rolled our eyes at, and it's kind of a hard one not to. I think all parents can relate. When you're in the public place, just trying to get your shopping done, and you have to make 5 trips to the bathroom. One person goes, then the next person goes. It's so easy to just be like, oh, can you just hold it? Or
we just went.
Yeah, we just went.
How could you possibly have to pee again?
Right. But again, why are we as parents getting mad over an uncontrollable bodily function? And that's what it comes down to. It comes down to just always keeping yourself in check, I think, as the adult. Stay calm, don't escalate, and watch your body language, watch your tone.
Don't show them your frustration.
Yeah, it's okay to be frustrated as adults, but it's also our job to just let them know that we are here for them.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I mean, even Gemma at 5 is super perceptive to when I'm frustrated.
Oh, yes.
When she does something that she knows frustrates me, like the bathroom thing, like if we just wasted 10 minutes walking from one side of Costco to the bathroom all the way back, and then all of a sudden she's like, actually, I have to go number 2.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, let's go.
Yeah.
And then she goes, are you mad at me?
Yeah.
Because my reaction was, oh, let's go then.
Yeah.
I could have just went, oh yeah? All right.
Let's go.
Let's go. I still am going to be frustrated at that because my time is valuable to me and I don't want to waste time. But I don't need to show her that audible sigh, that clear tone in my voice of frustration.
Mm-hmm.
I can just take 1 second to just think that she will read me. Yeah. She can read me like that.
And what they think about us matters. Yeah. It's how because what they think we think about them is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And if they think that we're always annoyed with them, what do you think that does to them?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than supported,
they feel like they're annoying. Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't want that. And that's not the case. But we as adults have to be so intentional to make that not the case.
It's hard sometimes.
It is very hard. It's like one of the hardest parts of parenting, I think, for me at least.
Mm-hmm.
I think people could definitely relate to that.
Well, yeah, you certainly talk before you think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I generally think before I speak. So like that helps me in those situations because I'm internal first.
Yeah.
So usually I can kind of catch myself and be like, all right, rein it in.
Yeah.
Say something smart and don't come off the top with something irrational, know, where I feel like I don't have to work quite as hard as you do at that. I know you do have to work at that because you will react much quicker than I do.
Yeah, I've always had that issue. Like, I can't lie. I'm a terrible liar because I can't hide what I'm thinking on my face. It's really hard. Like, it's really hard. If someone's annoying me, I can't just I can't just not show it. And with adults, I don't care as much because, whatever. I'm trying. This is just who I am. But with my kids, I have seen it where I react and then I see them, their whole face melt from happiness to sadness. And I'm like, God, I did that. And that's a terrible feeling. I hate that feeling. So I really do try, and I'm not perfect at it by any means at all. Of course, everything we're speaking on is like what we try to do all the time.
Yeah.
But we're not perfect. We're human. We make mistakes all the time. And as I've mentioned before too, like when we do make those mistakes though, we're accountable.
Yeah.
So if I do make these mistakes, I am making sure to go back and tell them, I'm sorry. That is not how I meant for that to come out. And I want you to know that what you did not cause that. That's a me problem. And I have made that very apparent with my kids. And I think they understand that. But but just because they understand that doesn't mean I still want to make that okay, or it's not okay for me to do that.
Yeah, I'll apologize to Gemma when I go, oh, let's go for the bathroom thing. And then she immediately goes, are you mad at me? Because just saying no doesn't really do anything. If I just said, no, I'm not, and we go, that really doesn't help. I go, no, I'm not mad. I'm frustrated at the situation because we were just at the bathroom, but I'm sorry that I reacted that way, but I'll tell her right away. Yeah, I am frustrated. Yes. And you saw me be frustrated, and that's my problem. That's not your problem.
It's not you. That's not because of you.
Yeah. You didn't need to see me frustrated. I'm frustrated at the situation because now we're having to go spend more time to do this, which you as a 5-year-old, you don't understand that at all because you're just living carefree from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. You're supposed to. That's a kid's job, is to just live blissful. And it's my job to manage my day and manage my time.
Yeah.
And when I now have to spend another 10 minutes doing something that we could have just done 10 minutes ago, I do feel frustration, but it's my job to not show that frustration because they don't need to see that. They will figure that out as they get older and they have responsibility. They will understand what frustration is in that aspect. They don't need to hear it from me. If she catches me lacking and I go, let's go, and she goes, are you mad at me? It is now my job to say, I am frustrated, but I was supposed to not show you that I'm frustrated. It doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, it's also okay for them to see that we're human too.
Right, of course.
We are human.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to explain to him, I'm frustrated with the situation.
Not with you.
Not with you.
Yeah.
I was supposed to just take you to the bathroom.
Yep. And I think another way to remember alongside all of this is just sticking to your word and your boundaries, especially in those big moments. I'll give the example of picking up the blocks, like, because you brought that up earlier. So the blocks are all on the floor and you ask your kid or tell your kid, we have to pick up the blocks, and they say no. And then you're in a heated battle back and forth. And then you just say, well, never mind, don't worry about it. And it's just like, well, now everything you've ever said does not matter. Your word means nothing if you don't stick to your word and boundary. If the boundary is in your household and your rule is, if you get toys out, you pick them up, and then they get toys out, and then you don't make them pick them up or don't stick to that boundary of, well, you got them out, you pick them up. Well, then why should they ever pick anything up? Because apparently that boundary does not matter.
Yeah.
Another example, maybe that would make more sense, would be, you just said the TV goes off in 5 minutes, right? And you set a timer so that everyone knows what 5 minutes is if they can't read a clock.
Which, by the way, is an important thing. Because if you just say, we're turning the TV off soon, and then when you go to turn the TV off, they're always going to fight you on it.
Yeah.
Always,
and then it's
because
just,
it was arbitrary. Yeah. Soon could have been 1 minute, could have been 20 minutes. It doesn't matter to them. It's like, as soon as you turn it off, they're just going to be mad. But the timer is huge.
Yeah.
Because you say, oh, well, and you set the timer out loud in front of them. So they hear me say, set a timer for 5 minutes. And then they go, okay.
Yeah, timers are just so huge. Underrated. Timers are just amazing for I love the visual. We have one of the visual ones too. I love that.
And then when the timer goes off, it's like all responsibility, it's not on me anymore. It's on the timer. It's like, guys, I can't control the timer.
Yeah,
the timer went off. It's time for the TV to go off. The timer went off. It's not me. It's the timer.
Yeah.
So it turns all the responsibility to that, and they accept that a lot better.
Yes.
You just go shut the TV off, and you go, timer said, guys.
Yeah.
That's the timer.
And then you're avoiding big emotions by doing that. And you're also sticking true to your boundaries. Now, the problem is if timer goes off and 1 more minute, and then they're getting upset this time for whatever reason, maybe it was a good part in the show or whatever it was, and they're getting upset. The thing is to not fight them back or to say, yeah, fine, another minute, because then they're going to push it every time.
Yeah. Can I finish the scene?
Yeah. But also the thing is to not be like, no, the timer went off. I said so. Like it's time's up. Like, why do you have to always ask for more? Like, don't do that either, because if you just turn it off and walk away and be calm, boundary stays, your word means something, and that's all that matters.
And they move on.
Yeah. The same way that I have a rule currently where it's when we're going places, it's one toy. You can bring one toy, no accessories in the car with you. And they'll fight me and they'll say, well, can I bring another toy? And I'm like, no, it's one toy, no accessories. And they'll start to just kind of get upset at that. And as long as I don't repeat myself. It's one toy, no accessories. And then can I bring two? Nope. You know the rule. It's one toy, no accessories or none. It's your choice. You have the option. You don't have to bring any. Yeah. You can bring one toy, no accessories or none. And the reason I have that rule is because my van will get overrun with so many random things. So I just can't do it anymore. They come in and they don't come out. So it's now the one because they'll keep up with that one. But I've noticed like before, I would try to fight them or I would just like get annoyed, but I just stay calm now and I say one toy, no accessories, and that's it. And by the time they're in the car, they've already forgotten about it. My word stuck true. My boundary was still enforced and no one got upset because I stayed calm. That is all that matters.
Right. And you were the leader. You're the clear leader. They're realizing I'm not in charge.
Yeah, because they're not.
They're not in charge, but we aren't their boss. That's also kind of.
It doesn't mean they don't have a say.
Right.
I'm not saying one toy, no accessories because I said so. I'm saying one toy, no accessories because I've asked you guys multiple times to remember to get your stuff out of the van and you don't do it. Yeah. And that's okay. Maybe one day you will do it and then that boundary can change. But as of right now, it's one toy, no accessories.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Okay. So the last thing we'll kind of touch on is some of the things we do whenever a child or an adult has went beyond the point of calming down. Like we're talking like full on, as John Fogel would say, lizard brain, where we are broke down, can't see straight, emotional, screaming, all the above. What's hitting, all of that.
We have some grounding techniques. Basically, they just means like ways to calm down, to like bring yourself back down to the ground. I think I know they're different for every kid, right? Like just for Jovi and Gemma, we have two totally separate techniques.
Yeah, they calm down in different ways.
Yeah, one doesn't work on the other. But for Gemma, we do the grounding technique that's basically you say, tell me 5 things you can see. And then she goes through 5 things she can see. And then 4 things you can feel. 4 things you can feel.
4 things you can feel.
4 things you feel. She goes through those. 3 things you can hear. 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste.
Yes.
And by the time we get through those, it takes us 1 minute. She is
back
so calm.
Yeah.
It brings her right back down to have to search and focus and think, especially the last few where it's like smell. She's really got to rein it down and smell and figure out what is smelling around her, you know? And that always calms her down. And then once she's calmed down, then you can connect. Yeah. But you can't even connect when they're when they've fully lost it. And
she'll stiffen, she'll hit nonstop and just lose it on us. But that one always brings it back.
Yep.
And then for Jovi, deep breaths and music. Those two. So just going and putting on a song and then taking some deep breaths. But she kind of has to, for her, she needs to disconnect in order to come back and connect. So she usually will go to her room, lights low, turn a song on and take some deep breaths. And that has worked really well for her. And then for older kids, what I recommend whenever they're getting frustrated, I'm talking Margot's age 11 and up, a big one, I think, is journaling. Have them journal. Like if they're getting mad to the point where they're crying or getting upset, can't even put their thoughts out straight or know why they're even upset, go tell them to just sit in their room, quiet, pen to paper. What are you feeling? What made you mad? What would help? And then have them bring that to you, and then you can discuss it because they've put it on the paper. By the time they've written that down, they're calm, and then you can have a discussion with them about that.
Yeah.
So that's a really good one, I think, for older kids.
What do you do for yourself?
Walk away. I have to completely disassociate. And it's hard for me, but yeah, I could do the music thing or a TV show. That's another way. I have to leave the reality that I'm in for me. Yeah, that's the only way I can truly calm down is to completely get into a different world. So music can do that, and a TV show that I'm really into can do that for me.
Yeah, I also need to walk away and disconnect. I don't need to like do anything. I just need to like get out of the place where I've been frustrated, away from the people that I am frustrated with, and just walk away. It doesn't take me very long. I'm able to.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch an hour episode. Yeah. Like I just have to go get into whatever other something to get my brain off of it.
I just need to go like just calm myself down and process it all and think, what could I have done differently, and how am I going to go back? How am I going to go back into that place that I was frustrated with, and how am I going to make things right? And then also think like, what did I do wrong in my frustration? What do I need to go apologize for, you know?
Yeah.
And that helps me to like take accountability. It's like my accountability moment where I calm myself down and then I'm like, all right, you're better than this, and go back to it and be better, you know?
Yeah. Another thing I just wanted to mention really quick, something I always say is you're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to be upset. You are not allowed to hit or be physical because you're upset, and you're not allowed to talk poorly to or about people because you're upset. And that's something we've had to work on with one of them. And
yeah, emotions aren't actions.
Yeah.
You're not responsible for your emotions. You can feel. You're free to feel. Feeling is totally normal, but it's what you do when you're feeling is where the problems start to come in.
Yeah. And that's where I've had to say a lot of times is you're allowed to feel like this. You're allowed to be mad, but you are not allowed to hit me because you're mad. And you're not allowed to call your friend stupid because you're mad at them. Stupid is a bad word. Saying something that could be hurtful to someone, that's not okay. You made a choice by doing that. Now you're not in control of how you feel, and that's okay, but it's time to walk away, figure that out, and then see how we can talk about it. And I understand that's hard to do. The other day we had one of our kids talking poorly, and I made her come up and write, I will not say unkind things to others. And, you know, that was it. And it was simple. They didn't want to do it, but that had to happen because you have to take accountability for your actions. Another thing I forgot to mention of how to calm big emotions. This is one I have them do is if we're fighting too much and we're bickering too much and we're getting upset with one another, you're going to go run. Mm-hmm. And I always tell them this. I say, you're not going to run because I'm punishing you, because exercise is not a punishment. It's a reward. It's a privilege. And I'll tell them to go run up and down the block here. And I say, you're running to avoid what could turn into punishment. I'm giving you the option to go run and get your emotions out. I see you're angry. And I say, sometimes I have to go run because I can't stop my mind. That's another thing I do to ground myself, is to go run. Because sometimes like I said, I run until my thoughts stop. But I give them the option to go run because that just naturally releases those endorphins. And it's not a punishment. It's just you're running to release that anger, get it out of your body, and then let's come back and talk about it.
Yeah.
So that's another one.
Yeah.
Big emotions, little bodies.
Yeah. Everyone experiences it every single day. So it's an important thing. It's good to know how to handle it.
Yeah.
To be equipped to handle situations like that. I mean, it's your job as the parent to be there for the kid when they can't regulate themselves. That's on you. And
it's also your job to learn to regulate yourself.
Yep. So that your child has a good role model.
Yeah. Be a leader, and you can't lead if you're upset.
Yep.
You can't lead if you're escalating the situations.
Yep.
The only way that you can lead is being calm.
Yep. Sit back
grounded.
And look at some of the situations, and you may find that you were the problem all along. It wasn't your kid at all.
Yeah. How we handle problems as adults is the only way that they're going to learn how to handle problems. So you have to be a good leader. You have to be a good role model to help them learn. Pretty much it.
All right. Well,
that's the show, guys.
If you made it this far in, thank you very much for listening. We appreciate you. This has been
She Talks. He Nods. Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.